I've built so many different Copper Golem sorters, been happy, been frustrated, rewritten this script more times than I'd like to admit, and at the end of it all, I'm satisfied? I've learned a lot about our metallic little friends here. I've experienced their bugs, quirks, and shortfalls firsthand, which felt a bit like crashing into a brick wall, to be honest. But I've also come to understand their allure, the benefit of a user-friendly automaton, and the role they play in the broader world of storage tech. Let's start with what I've learned. The Copper Golem is basically a multi-item sorting mob. This tiny job-stealing robot is spawned by placing a carved pumpkin atop a copper block at any stage of oxidization. Once spawned, the Copper Golem will begin searching for a copper chest. If a copper chest can be reached, opened, and contains items, the Copper Golem will remove up to 16 of a single item type. It then begins to search for a regular chest to deposit those items. If it finds one that contains at least one item matching what's in its hands, and providing there's room, it'll deposit that item into the chest. Otherwise, it will drop whatever it's holding into the first empty chest it comes across. It then returns to the copper chest, rinse and repeat. A couple other things to know about how it operates. The Copper Golem searches for chests and copper chests in a 65 by 17 by 65 area. It takes 3 seconds, or 60 to 63 game ticks, to search a chest, whether it's a copper chest to withdraw an item, or a regular chest to make a deposit. It can remember up to 10 copper chests and 10 regular chests. If it can't find an item or can't find a spot to make a deposit, it'll wander for 7 seconds before starting to search again. It will always place items into a chest in the first available slot, being either an empty slot or stacking with matching items if no preceding slots are empty. A Copper Golem sorts by matching item type, meaning it can also sort non-stackable items. However, it does ignore durability, enchantments, shulker box contents, custom names, or any other item data. A Copper Golem will oxidize over time and eventually transform into a Copper Golem statue. Using an axe or lightning will remove oxidization and revive statues, but best to take preventative action and wax it using honeycomb to prevent oxidization at all. When multiple Copper Golems are in use, chest access is mutually exclusive. No more than one Copper Golem will access a chest at a time. They'll even pause when a player accesses a chest the Golem has queued to search. Copper Golems, like other mobs, are susceptible to entity cramming, meaning they'll pop out in all directions when placed in the same space together. This can be effectively disabled with the use of ladders or vines. Those are the basics of the Copper Golem, and they really haven't changed since they were first introduced. Sure, there have been a few bug fixes and tweaks, but functionality has been essentially unchanged. With having gone through the pre-releases and now the first release candidate, I'd say we're pretty close to their final iteration. So what purpose do they serve? Can they keep up with modern storage tech? Well, no, but I don't think the majority of the Minecraft player base wants to keep up with it either. In my opinion, the Copper Golem is best suited to close the gap for non-technical players between basic SS3 sorters and more complex solutions. I spent far too much time trying to optimize their throughput. Like others, I tried the filter chest approach, similar to how the Mist works today, but that has a few problems. Golems can be too fast. A single Copper Golem removing items from a copper chest and placing them into an adjacent regular chest has no travel time, so they spend 6 seconds between the two chests. That 6 seconds is 120 game ticks. If the Golem places the max 16 items at 8 ticks per item to flush from the chest they're placed in, then it would take 128 ticks. That means by the time the Golem returns to make another deposit, there's still one item in the chest. What if the new item is different than the item still in there? Do they move on to the next chest, or do they start to wander? If that happens when alternating between different item types, you best make sure you have enough open slots in your filter chest. What if they place too many items over time? Or what if you want to sort a bunch of non-stackables into one chest? Your SS3 filter is probably going to overflow. Couldn't you use a dustless filter? Can we speed things up with more golems? Doesn't that just compound the problem? Not if we limit the number of items in the copper chest to 7 every 64 game ticks, and allow the filter chest to flush the newly deposited items before the next copper golem. Stop! See how quickly we spiraled there? This train of thought transpired over a couple weeks, with a few folks in the Storage Tech Discord, theorizing how to optimize Copper Golem throughput. Our paradigm was the miss and other traditional sorters. Take an item, test it against a filter, drop it into a slice if it matches, move on to the next slice if it doesn't. Numerous designs were made to replicate this format. I built a whole Copper Golem storage system using one of these designs, but it's still not optimal. This was the best solution I could come up with. A 6-filter chest hall configuration, where you can stack 9 Copper Golems for the fastest achievable sorting speeds in a 1-wide tileable setup. It requires an item gate and batcher to group items together and deliver 7 items to the first copper chest at the highest frequency. Its optimal throughput is 93% hopper speed. So how does this compare to the miss? Well, it's about the same, and honestly maybe a little worse. Both systems run close to hopper speed with optimal configuration. Worst case scenario, Copper Golem sorter runs at 13% hopper speed. That worst case scenario is essentially sorting multiple non-stackables back to back. And while the ability to sort non-stackables is a capability the miss doesn't have, it's still probably best to sort them out in advance because of the speed loss. In fact, I built a completely different style filter to accommodate non-stackable sorting. The hall itself is also a little quirky in that the flow of items goes in one direction only, meaning you'd either have to reroute the items if you wanted to do a traditional cross-shaped hall or change your shape to a square. Another downside is that golems themselves are likely inherently laggy. Extra mobs in your world definitely won't help make things run more smoothly. Long story short, we're taking what's supposed to be a simple to implement solution and overcomplicating it by trying to optimize it. The truth is the Copper Golem's best use for technical players is probably non-stackable sorting. It'll be slow as molasses, but it's a function we only have in part today. For non-technical players, the best use is probably what Mojang intended. Slap some chests together and place a Copper Golem to sort things for you. Easy peasy. But I suppose we can optimize a little. Let's look at a typical chest configuration. We know golems are most efficient when they can't move, so let's trap one back here. We're going to place him with a minecart to make sure he's pushed as close to the chest wall as possible. Let's give him access to a copper chest and an empty chest to place mismatches. Done. Now when we place items in the copper chest, the golem will check all the chests closest to him first, why we pushed him forward, then dump into the miscellaneous chest. And we can extend this design down as far as we need, or even go upwards. We can add up to 12 golems for each segment to speed things up, and we can make the transfer between segments double speed. But other than that, no item gate, no redstone, no batching to 7, no filter chests. You could even build this underwater. Sure, the golems might get hung up now and again waiting for the miscellaneous chest to empty, but otherwise, this is the simplest implementation of a multi-item sorter. Just make sure you have at least one of every item you want to sort for in these chests. Like I said when I started, I'm satisfied that Copper Golems offer a simple automated storage solution for non-technical players and can complement more robust systems in ways that we can't achieve today. I'm excited to see how people end up using Copper Golems in their worlds. Maybe we'll see a few of these setups I've shared here today. Or maybe there's a better solution out there yet. Thanks again, YouTube. Have a great day.